The Springfield Armory Hellcat Pro, let's check it out. Springfield Armory introduced their Hellcat not long after SIG introduced the P365. These are micro 9s, and yet they're double stack magazines. So we have an 11+1 mag capacity or a 13 round mag capacity with a little bit of an extended magazine. This really stole the market from the single stack magazine pistols, which were the rage before these came out, and it kind of changed concealed carry. Gave you a lot more rounds, and yet the size is about the same as your single stack pistols. Now Springfield just introduced their Hellcat Pro. This is a dedicated 15+1 magazine with a flush fit magazine. It has a 3.7-inch barrel, and to be honest with you, it's about the same size as a Glock 19 and yet a lot thinner. So the advantages that we gained with the micro 9s and double stack are now moving into more of a full-size type pistol. Now the Glock 19 is considered a compact, and so this would really be a more compact size, which makes it great for concealed carry, and yet you're still carrying 15+1 in the magazine. So honestly, when Springfield said they were introducing this pistol, I thought, well, just another Hellcat. But this really does change the market, and there's no reason why we can't thin down those 9mm full-size pistols and still have 15+1 in the magazine. Now, full disclosure, Springfield Armory sent the Hellcat Pro for this review. Guys, we have shot thousands of rounds through the Hellcat originally, and we're really looking forward to getting a lot of rounds downrange with this one. The Springfield Armory Hellcat Pro. This is out of their OSP line, which is optic sight pistol, but all of their Hellcats so far are optics ready. This one does come with a red dot already attached. This is the Hex Optics Wasp. We'll take a look at that in a few minutes. But one of the big pluses for this pistol is that it is a 15+1 in the magazine, and yet it's super thin. And those are flush fit magazines, so this goes right into the grip, full size. You know, Springfield Armory did release some 15-round magazines for their standard pistols. In fact, here we have the RDP. This one has the 15-round magazine in it. Go ahead and check the chamber. But what we've got is this long piece that comes off the end. And there is a little bit of a gap right here, which with some guns it can cause a little pinching. Not necessarily with the RPD. But you can see that these are pretty much the same in grip length. But one thing you can do is take this one out. You can put in one of the 11-round magazines, and it does have a lip, or you can do a flush fit. So you can go a little bit smaller with this, but the big plus for the Pro is that this is a 15-round pistol. It has a 3.7-inch barrel, so it's got more toward the full-length size barrel, and yet it's super thin. And we bring in the Glock 19, 15-round capacity, but look how much thicker it is. And it's got a 4.02-inch barrel in the Glock 19. As far as the length, the grips are pretty much the same. Even the bore axis is about the same. So we've got a thicker grip, we have a much thinner, more concealable grip, and yet we have two 15-round +1 mag capacity. And I think that's one of the huge benefits that we have gotten out of the Micro 9 series. You know, a number of different pistols have come out. Here's the standard Hellcat. This was introduced right after the SIG P365. This is a 11+1 or a 13+1. And again, it's that super thin concealable size. And so that was a huge bonus. But now, why not move up to a more full-size pistol and yet make it thinner, more pointable, a little more ergonomic, and yet it's really thin for concealed carry. And I think that is the big plus with this pistol. It's a 3.7-inch barrel. It is melanite finished, so that's really going to give you good corrosion resistance. It is cold hammer forged as well, and that gives you extended life for your barrel. The slide itself has a matte melanite finish on it too. Rear and front cocking serrations. And of course we have our slide stop here. We have our takedown lever right there. It's not ambidextrous, but you can switch it to the other side. Now this is their adaptive grip texture. One of the things I like about this is it's smooth to the touch. I mean, it just glides over your finger. But once you grab the pistol and put any kind of pressure, you start to feel those small little pyramid shapes bite into your hand. And that's going to give you a lot of solid grip on this pistol. It's really what they call pressure activated, and it is. And it's on all the Hellcat series pistols. Now, because the frame and the slide are a little bit extended, we have a 2-slot Picatinny rail, whereas on the Hellcat, we just have one. Which there are lights that'll fit this, but it makes it a lot more difficult, really small micro lights, and this gives you just a lot more options. One thing also they've done, and we'll look at this in a minute, is they've improved the trigger on the Hellcat Pro. This is what they call their Gen 3 trigger, and we'll take a good look at that in a minute. And you get two 15+1 magazines. Now, speaking of magazines, these magazines will fit in your standard Hellcat. It's going to hang off the end, but we have this magazine is compatible with the smaller sizes. With the larger Pro, you're just not going to have that mag capacity. And that's the way it is with most of your pistols, whether it's the Glock 17 to the 19 or the 26. And the smaller sizes typically garner more mag compatibility. Magazines go in really easy, a nice snap, and it is a flush fit. Very light, just finger bumps, not really finger grooves, and it just fits right into your hand. I love these memory pads right here on the frame. That way when I bring my finger out of the trigger, I've got a place just to put it. But this also allows for recoil mitigation because I can take my thumb and put it on that pad, and it helps with muzzle rise. This has the U-notch sight in the back, and then at the front we have a tritium bead with a phosphorus circle around it. It really allows you to get on target really quickly, but it also co-witnesses with the hex wasp. You can see the dot right there. I mean, it is a perfect co-witness. That way, in case you have any issues with your optic, you have those sights as backups. Now, the red dot does fit down into the frame. This is set for the Shield RMSC footprint, but this is the hex wasp. Guys, I'm telling you, I'm a big fan of these sights. One of the biggest things is just how beefed up it is up here at the top, and that's where you're going to drop it. That's where you're going to have issues. And so this just allows you to have some strength right here, and I like that. Another thing I like is just the finish on this optic. I mean, it is beautiful, very well made, and these are consistently on. There's no button to shut them off. They're actually activated by the light. And so if you're in bright sunlight, the dot's going to really pick up. And then when you go into more dim light, the red dot will dim down. It's a 3.5 MOA, and it has 65,000 hour battery life. Now again, this came on this pistol itself, and there are different packages with the Hellcats where you can get the optic or not. And if you choose not to go with an optic, you can replace the cover plate. It does have serrations on the top, and so this will just go right in, and of course there are screws to install this. And here you can see on the original Hellcat, we have those serrations. And the rear sight does have a tactical ledge to be able to cock with one hand. It's the same on the Hellcat Pro, it's just with this sight, it's more difficult to see. But one thing you can do is you can rack your slide with your optic, and it's good and strong and solid. Now with the standard Hellcat, it had a 3-inch barrel. Again, 11+1 or 13+1 if you want an extended base plate. The Hellcat RDP came out with the same grip length, so you have 11 plus 13, but it does have the compensator on the end, and this is a self-index compensator. And then of course it has a thread protector if you want to go with suppressors. With the Pro, it's just extended the barrel length to 3.7 inches, and you've extended the grip to accept flush fit 15+1 magazines. So this just gives you a lot of options. And guys, like I've been saying forever, I mean, we live in the golden age of firearms, and companies are continuing to put out great innovative ideas. Have Hellcat Pro on the slide. On top, we have the Springfield Armory logo. and then Springfield Armory on the side. And it's very minimal. It doesn't really stand out. We have a loaded chamber indicator right here. You can see the brass through it. Here I have a dummy round. Go ahead and test that loaded chamber indicator. And as you can see right here through the barrel, you can see the brass. And guys, I've used that a number of times on a number of different Hellcats and other pistols that have that, and I really like that. Now, it's not tactile, you can't feel it, but you can definitely see it. Now, according to Springfield, this is their Gen 3 trigger. They had the Gen 1 in the original. They improved it with the RDP, and now we have the Gen 3. You do have your trigger safety right here, and then we have some take up right here, a little bit of more like free play, just a little bit of pressure, but not much. It comes up to a wall, and then it builds pressure, and then it has a nice break. Reset. Right there. Not a bad trigger for a striker fire polymer frame pistol. But as far as the other triggers, with the Hellcat, we have shot about 5,000 rounds through this gun, and the trigger has really smoothed out. With the RDP, we've shot a couple of thousand rounds as well. And while I feel like that the new Gen 3 trigger is an improvement, these have smoothed out very well. So what I'm really hoping is that this one will even smooth out farther. Check the trigger pull weight with our Lyman trigger gauge from Brownells. 5 pounds, 15.3 ounces. 5 pounds, 14.6 ounces. Looks like it's in that more of an upper 5 pound range. The Hellcat Pro with the hex optic. 1 pound, 4.8 ounces. The hex optic weighs 0.7 ounces. The standard Hellcat, 1 pound, 2.2 ounces. So about 2 ounce difference. We really appreciate Fiocchi for sponsoring the ammo. All made right here in the USA, one of the largest suppliers of ammunition in the country. We also thank Lula Loaders for making these mag loads easier, because these mags are pretty stiff at first. They'll work their way out. Now, taking the Hellcat Pro down to the range, we had two objectives. First off is just to test the gun out. Check reliability, accuracy, how the gun fits in your hand, especially with this thinner grip. You know, it's not a full-size gun, but yet it has a full-size silhouette. Or, you know, like the Glock 19, actually more of a compact silhouette, but again, just that really thin grip. But with the double stack magazine, the grip fills your hand really nicely. One of the big things is with this texturing. It is, again, smooth to the touch, and yet when you really grip hold of the pistol, you know, you feel that, that locking it in. And I really like that. I like the grip on this gun. The hex optics, it was, you know, 3.5 MOA, so, you know, it gives you a decent sized dot. It's bright. You know, in the sunlight, it really brightens up. When it gets darker, it dims down. It's very adaptable. But one thing about the 3.5 MOA was it was a little bit smaller than what I like. I like something maybe a little bit larger, but still, it was really easy to get the dot. And to be honest with you, it's going to allow you to get better accuracy. The front cocking serrations, really easy to grab hold for press checks, but yet we could look down and check to see if the gun was loaded right through the top of the slide. Overall, it was a very enjoyable gun to shoot. We had no malfunctions at all. And didn't expect it, because we have had very good success and results with the original Hellcats. Even the RDP, that's a great little gun in itself, and it has that compensator. But our second objective was to test the Pro directly with the standard Hellcat. You know, we definitely have a longer slide, so, you know, we were expecting, you know, less muzzle flip, more pointability, which we got with the standard Hellcat Pro. When we brought out the standard Hellcat, you know, with the 15 round magazine, it gave you a full grip, but you had that shorter slide. And there was definitely a difference between the two. There was much more muzzle rise or muzzle flip with the regular Hellcat. Yeah, definitely more muzzle flip. It's more recoil in your hand. Still very shootable, but the Pro is a much more enjoyable shooting gun. Just seems to track better. When you're shooting with the regular Hellcat, a little bit more muzzle flip in your hand, even with that extension. But two different offerings, two different type setups, and this is still a really great gun to shoot. But that Pro shoots better. It's not unmanageable, it's a great gun to shoot, but compared to the Pro, it's definitely more recoil sensitive. With the standard, I mean, we were shooting it flat, it shot very pointable, and as far as taking this to the range, the Hellcat Pro definitely was the winner. But when it comes to self-defense, of course, the Hellcat is easier to conceal. It's just going to be a smaller gun, and you can take that 15-round magazine, slip it in your back pocket, and then you'll have your standard 11-round magazine to make it really easy to conceal. And of course, obviously, it's according to body type as well. But taking this to the range, again, it compares to a full-size gun, and yet it's super thin. And that's one of the biggest appeals of this gun. But obviously, if you already have the Hellcat and you got 11+1 in the magazine, throw in that 15-rounder and you have 15-round mag capacity. Shorter slide, but yet this is a very capable firearm as well. Now, as far as disassembly goes, we drop our magazine, go ahead and check to make sure the gun's unloaded. Bring this back into the slide lock position, take your lever, your takedown lever, and push it up. Then release your slide stop, pull the trigger, and then the slide will come right off. A recoil spring, all steel, and it is captive. And then we have our barrel. And again, this is a 3.7-inch barrel. The finish on the inside of this slide is beautiful. It's been well done, no tool marks. And then we have the frame, and of course the same thing, very Hellcat-like. In fact, the parts are all compatible. One thing I do want you to notice though is that the rails are pretty beefy. And on a lot of striker fire pistols, including the Glock, they have rails about half the size and even thinner. So this is going to give you a little more slide to frame fit. It's going to slide on those rails just a little bit better. Maybe not noticeable, but definitely something to take note of. And guys, that's all you need to do to field strip. Go ahead and reinsert your barrel, recoil spring and guide rod. Bring it back over the frame, go into slide lock position. Bring down your lever, your takedown lever, go forward, enter your magazine, test for function. Man, that's simple, but that's one of the beauties of polymer striker fire pistols. They are so easy to disassemble. Also comes with a pretty cool mag loader, has some finger grooves toward the back. We'll test this out at the range. Springfield Armory sent one of the Black Point. This is the DP2 right hand, and has clips, great appendix carry style, and ready for optics. So we'll try that out as well. Now, as far as price goes, manufacturer suggested retail is $634 without the optic. They do run packages with the optic. The Hex Wasp retails for $299. When you buy the two together, it's even a better price. And of course, market price would typically be less. As far as pros and cons, we've got a full-size 15+1 3.7-inch barrel, pretty much a full-size type pistol, and yet we have a very small package. Again, guys, compared to the Glock, and you know, guys, I am a huge fan of the Glock 19. I mean, it is what it is as far as just concealability. And I've concealed carried a Glock 19 for a long time, off and on, and the Glock 26. But with these Micro 9s, they're getting them really thin, so why not come out and offer a full-size package with 15 rounds? And two, your grip is considerably thinner, which to me is going to lead to better ergonomics. Now, if you have a really large hands and the Glock feels right for you, that's one of the things about it. But honestly, that thin grip is just beautiful, and the same mag capacity. The cold hammer forged barrel is definitely a plus. The black Armornite finish is going to hold up very well. I love this adaptive texturing that's on the grip. Again, it's going to ride next to your skin in a concealed carry, or not snag on clothes, things like that, and yet when you grip it, it locks down. It's almost like it just locks down, and I really like that. Memory pad right here, I like that as well. It keeps my finger in the right place. Low bore axis, again, this is about the same size as your Glock. A lot of the other Springfield Armory XD, XDMs have a higher bore axis. And so this with the Hellcat, it really brings that down. The additional rail The Hex Optic is a plus, and if you get that package, guys, I highly recommend trying out the Hex Optics red dots. They are top notch. The sights on this, they are excellent as well, with the U-notch in the back and that tritium bead, and then it co-witnesses with the red dot. Or again, go with a cover plate, and you can carry this like you would any other pistol. Cons, it is a little bit larger than the Hellcat if you want to carry for deep cover. The magazine compatibility is not there if you're going to use the shorter mags. But with this, I mean, this gives you a full-size grip. So overall, I really like the Hellcat Pro. Guys, I've been carrying the RDP for a while in an outside the waistband holster, and this is pretty much the same size, a little more grip, but you're getting that 15+1. Guys, again, I'm a huge fan of the Glock 19. I love the size, the mag capacity for the size. This can be used as a concealed carry piece, but also, for a standard pistol because it shoots like a full-size pistol. But once you bring out something like this with the Hellcat Pro, you get that really thin slide, you get a more ergonomic grip, and yet you're not really losing anything as far as barrel length and slide mass. And this really shoots like a full-size gun. It's not like those little micro 9s with the short slides, which definitely have their place. And that's really what I like to carry because they're so small and easy to conceal. But with the Hellcat Pro, you're getting a full-size silhouette, and yet you're getting a super thin handgun with 15 rounds in the magazine. And again, I really think that this is a game changer. And I'm sure we're going to see other companies follow suit. And we really appreciate Springfield Armory for sending the Hellcat Pro to add to my Hellcat collection. Be strong, be of good courage. God bless America. Long live the Republic. So that makes it nice as well. Okay, makes it nice as well. Of course it makes it nice as well. Significantly less muzzle flip than the standard, did I say P365? Stole the single stack market. Okay. We were already very familiar with the Hellcat platform. So it doesn't really have any bearing of, nah.